Not Diddy's own mother getting caught up in his legal mess, because the streets are buzzing that not only was Mama Combs allegedly involved in her son's freak-offs, but she was actually the one leading them. Child, it's looking like the entire family was deep in some next-level freaky business, but his mother being mixed up in this takes it somewhere else entirely. Now, if you're wondering how this tea got spilled, well, word on the streets is that we've got Kim Porter's family to thank for that, because they allegedly handed over receipts to the feds. Child, it's looking like Mama Combs might just end up in matching prison jumpsuits with her son, because Kim's family wants justice for her, and they don't care who goes down in the process. But now folks are asking, did Janice Combs introduce her son to that lifestyle, or was she just another victim of his twisted world? Let's get into it. So, it's been no secret for a while now that Kim Porter's family never believed the official cause of her passing. That pneumonia story never really sat right with them. And honestly, can you blame them? The first coroner who did Kim's autopsy actually found toxins in her system, and right after that, he got fired. The next coroner took 2 weeks to release the new report, ruling her death as pneumonia. And get this, when folks started raising eyebrows about it, that first coroner mysteriously passed away from natural causes. Yeah, that math wasn't adding up. And multiple sources claimed the feds were already quietly investigating Kim's death as a potential murder rather than some random illness. One insider claimed that Kim's family almost filed a wrongful death suit against Diddy, but stopped because they'd been contacted by the feds. And apparently 3 family members and 6 friends had already been interviewed and warned to stay quiet. And then, during Cassie's lawsuit against Diddy, she reportedly told her lawyers she had proof about what really happened to Kim. According to another insider, there were so many cover-ups surrounding Kim's death. Like, why was there blood on her pillowcases and a trail of blood from the bedroom to the bathroom if she supposedly passed peacefully in her sleep? Why was that never mentioned? Kim wasn't even found in bed. She was on the bathroom floor. But if people said otherwise, it's probably because someone placed her in bed to stage the scene. And that whole story about housemates finding her? Another lie. Kim was being watched by a private medical professional handpicked by Diddy. Honestly, it's giving Michael Jackson vibes with the shady personal doctor situation. And if that's not wild enough, Kim's last call was to 911 at 2:43 a.m., yet she was suddenly discovered dead hours later around 11 a.m. And let's not forget, Kimora Simmons, Kim's close friend, said none of this sat right with her. Even Kim's ex, Al B. Sure, hinted that Diddy knew way more about Kim's death than he let on. Al even posted about how her sudden passing ripped his soul out, and how pneumonia just didn't make sense, considering they had just celebrated their son's Netflix deal, and Kim was healthy and full of life. He also posted a throwback pic, writing that life-imitating art now finally made sense, because apparently Kim told him things before she passed. And what's even more suspicious is that Al ended up in a coma shortly after speaking out about this. And when he came back, he never mentioned it again. A bit too convenient, right? Well, with Diddy's current situation, the streets are now saying Kim's family is pushing for the case to be reopened. And the alleged new evidence might not only expose the truth about Kim's death, but also blow the lid off of Diddy's freak-offs, including the bombshell claim that his own mother took part. To really understand how deep this goes, we've got to go all the way back to Diddy's childhood. His father, Melvin Combs, was deep in the streets, connected to Frank Lucas. Yeah, the same one from American Gangster. Melvin was ultimately taken out over what's believed to be a botched deal when Diddy was only 3. After that, his mom Janice worked hard to keep him out of that life, eventually moving him and his sister to Mount Vernon when Diddy was 12. She worked multiple jobs just to make sure Diddy could go to a private school. Talking about it, he once said, "Until I was 12, I lived in Harlem, then we moved to Mount Vernon, New York. That was my mom's way of getting us out of the inner city after my father was killed. But my grandmother still lived in Harlem, so I'd go back and forth. I remember the little things about Mount Vernon: grass, trees, playing baseball. In Harlem, there was no Little League, no grassy yards, but the neighborhood was multicultural, which really broadened my horizons." In a 2006 interview with Oprah, Diddy opened up about how he eventually discovered the real story behind his father's death, even though his mom tried to keep it from him. He said, "She tried to protect me. My father was a hustler who sold drugs. Back then, that was the way out of Harlem. Either that or basketball. My mom didn't want me following in his footsteps, so she only told me pieces of the truth. I knew he was in the army, that he owned a limo service, and that he died in a car accident. Technically, he was in a car, but even as a kid, I started connecting the dots. Random guys in Harlem always recognized my last name. They'd tell me, "I used to run with your father." And turns out, all my uncles were hustlers too. You'd think with his father's tragic end and his mother's endless sacrifices, working 2 jobs, nearly drowning in debt to get him into an expensive Catholic school, Diddy would have chosen a straight path, avoiding any mess tied to the street life, right? Well, apparently that wasn't the case. Even while attending that private Catholic school, Diddy still found himself in the wrong company. Reports claim he developed a close friendship with Andrew Campos, a known member of the infamous Gambino crime family. They reportedly played football together at St. Michael's and stayed tight even after graduating. Child, from the sound of it, Diddy's been chasing trouble for a long time, and his mom may have played a part in that. Janice used to claim she was a model and worked as a teacher's assistant back in the day, but the streets are calling that cap. And now, with all of Diddy's skeletons tumbling out of the closet, whispers suggest that Janice might have introduced him to some shady dealings herself. While she claimed to have been a model, no one's ever seen proof of any modeling gigs. Instead, the word is that she was more into organizing fashion shows, if you catch the drift. Even rapper Mace once hinted that Diddy's mom might have been more involved than she let on, allegedly enabling Diddy's bad behavior behind the scenes. Looking back now, a lot of things are starting to make sense, like that strange video Diddy posted with his mom. It was odd how he chose to show off his own mother's appearance like that. And did y'all notice when he mentioned that his mom was getting an IV drip with him? Well, according to federal indictment documents released by the feds, Diddy and others allegedly used IVs to recover after those wild parties. And I know y'all noticed the white nails too. Remember in Cassie's lawsuit? She claimed that Diddy used to make her wear white nail polish before those events. Plus, that strange comment about his mom being flexible enough to touch the floor with her palms. Fans have been putting the pieces together, and now people are speculating about how much his mother may have known about what was going on. Given all the rumors about her past and the questionable things she's allegedly enabled over the years, is it really that surprising? This situation is disturbing either way, and fans have been speaking out in the comments. One person said, "It's almost like she was part of his team." Another added, "Something about that relationship has always seemed strange to me." And someone else chimed in, "She definitely knew more than she ever let on, and it's all about maintaining that lifestyle." Phew, this is messy, but I want to know what you think, so drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to check out the next video.